Sure. All right. So Shane, shoot us
Can
real
you turn your
quick.
beautiful face back on?
I'm gonna try, but Shane's gonna show us.
Okay.
Tell us what you're gonna show us.
All right. So what I'm going to do here is just share the Facebook login here. So I'm going to log into it. I'm just looking into that account, and I'm going to click on to
So this is what someone would do if they're logging in on Facebook on Sunday morning.
the thing that we need to that. Oops, I'm on the wrong. The thing that I really just wanted to touch base with you guys about was this guy right here, this right here. So you need to interact with the page and with the people and everything as Moncton Wesleyan Church. So you just need to select that. A lot of times when you first come to the page, it'll be selected on that. And so when you write something, it has the right picture, but it will say Mon West said this. So you just need to select Moncton Wesleyan Church, and then that's how you're commenting as. Says comment as Moncton Wesleyan Church right
Okay.
there. But if not, it just says write a comment. And so that's like the personal page versus the public page. And that's it's not a huge thing, but I feel like it just brings officialness to the person commenting if they have the right name on them. So that's just that little button right there.
Okay.
That was pretty much all that I really wanted to touch on here. You guys do a good job. Almost going to go before. Here we are right here. So yeah, good engagement here from Toyin. And see, it says right there is commented on by Mon West. They can't see that. Only we can see that as we're logged in as admin. But it says Moncton Wesleyan Church, and that's what we want that name to be right there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I really wanted to screen share for, is just to show you where that little button is to change between profiles and identities there.
All right, Shane, talk us through someone that's leading on Facebook and
Yeah.
somebody is commenting too much, or maybe they're just commenting something that's weird or inappropriate. Talk us through what you would do.
When would that happen?
So on Facebook, you can just click on the three buttons here and say give feedback, report this comment, or hide this comment. And if I hide this comment, then it'll give me other options, like if you need to mute this person or if you need to block this person or whatever. So yeah, just those three dots right there, hide comment. Do you want me to jump over to YouTube and show you where to do it there?
Yeah, I just want to, so basically you have hide comment, you have delete comment. So would we want people to hide it, and then that way, we can go back and look at the conversation, or do we want to delete that right away?
On how it's going, but typically I would hide it if it's going to be if it's being person's being a pain or whatever. So like last week, our mighty moderator Mark took care of some bro who was being a pain in the butt. That this week?
Yeah, so he was on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's timed. That's why. If I scroll all the way down to here, then I'll see the rest of the comments, whatever. Yeah. So this guy named Marat was being a pain in the butt, and Mark told him to fill out a Connect card form if he wanted to go on. But I'm not seeing it now, which means they probably just deleted them. But if you click on here, I can delete Vicky's abusive praying hands. You can hit remove right there, or you can hide this user on this channel. Okay. So if somebody's getting really sassy with you, hit remove, and then you hit hide user. And then after you take that first step, there's other steps that are available. You can block this person from commenting or etc. So it's all about the three little dots next to that person's name on YouTube, but also on Facebook, those three little dots.
Okay. So in the
So
example,
typically we won't block someone unless they're just like, as they were on Sunday, just super off like off topic,
okay.
like come check out these aliens or whatever. It's like, no, thank you. If they're annoying or, just typing feverishly, I'd probably let them go for a little bit. But if they don't ever calm down, then I would assist them in slowing down. Does that make sense?
Yeah, assist them how, Shane? By hiding their
Yeah, you can hide them. And if they're talking a lot, there'll typically be an option that says limit user or timeout user for 10 minutes or, that kind of thing. So if they put in like 20 messages in a row, YouTube will be like, there's something going on here. And then you'll have other options for what you need to do.
Okay. All right. Any questions on that? And again, this is being recorded, and so we'll have a few of the other hosts that will watch this later. Mark, anything that you've experienced that you have any questions on pertaining to the commenting?
No, I mean, last week was the most intense. I think I've had a weirdo or two.
Okay. Vicky, do you have any questions? Is it our computers?
Continue this conversation through the connection card and send a link before we block them. And then if they
Yeah,
don't,
I mean, I definitely engage with them first, for sure. Yeah, that's always your first step, is to engage with the people. I'm assuming that you have engaged with them at that point and they're just being annoying or whatever.
Yeah. And so I think that is the right play, like Mark or Shane, like, if they have questions or they're weird questions, then that's where you would direct them to, to the connections pastor. Here's his email. He'd love to reach out to you and chat with you more about this. So I think that is a play. And then, but then if it's just really escalating or continuing, getting inappropriate, then that's when.
Yeah, if it's inappropriate, I probably would mute even before I engaged if it was inappropriate.
Right. Yes. Fair enough.
If it doesn't start there, then I would engage.
Yeah. Okay. So you logged into Facebook. Did you show them how to log into YouTube, or would everybody know now?
I mean, you just go to youtube.com and you log in. I'll send along the passwords and stuff for the people that don't have them.
Okay.
And then we should be good to go.
And you're going to do that, and you're going to drop that in the Facebook thread, Shane?
Sure, yeah, I could do that.
Okay. All right. Any other thoughts or questions on anything on the technical side, Mark or Vicky? Or maybe a question, Mark, you may have a question that again, someone's newer on the team that they might have that might be helpful for Shane to explain to them.
I sometimes when I'm on Facebook, I'll pin a comment, like the welcoming comment, or Joel usually gets on there and says, "Hey, well, everybody."
Sure.
Pin should be an option, so you just click that, and that will be permanently the first comment in the thread or whatever. It's always in view.
Yeah, it'll always be in view while the stream is live.
Right. So I do that sometimes. I always, on Facebook, I always like every appropriate comment, like,
Yep.
or
That's good practice as well. Yep.
I don't, if someone's like, let's say Megan Cameron is saying hi to Judy Gord. It says, "Hi, Judy." I don't like that one. But like if someone logs in and says, "Good morning, church family," or "Hallelujah," or whatever, then I'll like all of those.
Okay.
But I just personally don't go on and like the ones that are kind of between other people.
Sure.
Yep, that makes sense. And yeah, it's important for especially the people who are saying hello or good morning or whatever. It's especially important to engage with those. Even, I mean, like works perfectly. If you want to say good to see you, or something like that is also appropriate. But you definitely need to, if somebody is reaching out with the greeting, you definitely need to respond to it some fashion.
If someone comments, like Dot Moreau every week says, "Pastor Joel, turn your mic up," and you want to say, Dot, try turning your speakers all the way up. Make sure your speakers are turned all the way up or something. You want to help someone out that might be having an issue or having a question. When you on Facebook, when you reply to their comment, can only them see it, or can everybody see it as a?
Everyone can see it as a thread.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you reply to they can't hear it, it will thread underneath hers, but everyone can see it. It is visible to everyone.
Okay, but it won't come up as like the newest comment or whatever. It'll stay back in the thread where the original comment. Okay.
Yep. As long as you hit the reply button, yes.
Right.
That's a great question, Mark.
So if you see on the page I have up right now, that's the document that I shared the other day in that group, and I threw on there my phone number right there, so you can text me or call me if you're having problems. Text would probably be best on a Sunday morning for me, and then I can assist you with whatever problem you're having. We typically try to get people logged into YouTube before Sunday morning, because YouTube has like a two-factor authentication, so it won't let you in unless it pops up on my phone and I press the same number or whatever that you're logging in with. So for YouTube, you need to try to log in beforehand. For Facebook, it'll just let you in with the user and password. Here's the opening greeting. You just copy paste that, stick your name in.
Shane,
A couple different links here.
Clarify on YouTube. How much time should they log in before?
Usually I try to get them to log in on Saturday, make sure everything's rolling.
Oh, really? Okay.
Just a couple of days before. That way it's kind of being lit and it's ready to go. If you've already logged in with your device, so Mark would have no problem with this, but the first time we'll need to authenticate it, if that makes sense.
That's good. That's great.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll need to do that, because I've never been able to make that work. That's why I always go to the church when I have to do YouTube. So next time I do, I'll have to get that fixed up beforehand, the day before or whatever.
Yeah, just text me and we'll get her figured.
Yeah.
I just have another minute here to go before I have to run off to another meeting, but we have some links here, and Pat and I will keep these updated so that
I've never had our internet.
we have text short codes right now. We have New and Power. Those are the two that we're rolling with. They can also just text that number, say, "Hey, Pat, what's up?" whatever, and Bonnie will get it, but Pat will receive anything pertinent. And then a couple different closing lines there that you can just copy paste and throw in your chat, just to make it easier, so you're not concerned about typing out, "Oh, is this the right link?" or that kind of thing.
That's great.
The only things that we typically will hit specifically is give will be at offering time. Prayer will be kind of whenever they mention prayer, whether it's in the greeting or if it's at the end of the service. And same with the Connect card. If it's in the greeting and at the end of the service, then that's what we'll do with that. And right now we have two different options for prayer. We got any prayer requests? Do you have a prayer request this morning? So it's just a variation of the same thing, if that makes sense. Yeah, so any questions about this document at all?
Where did you find that document?
So this document I linked in the Facebook group that I sent to the whole group on Sunday. So
Okay.
there's a link to this document in there.
That's perfect. That's perfect. So yeah, we can add to that as needed, or we may delete like really the power text power. Like that campaign is over, so we won't use that again. So no, that's great. Any
So
other?
that will be kept up to date. So if you look on there and you don't see it, you probably should post it.
Yeah, that's really, really helpful. Thanks, Shane.
All right. You're welcome. I'm going to hop off screen share here.
Thank you.
All right. So let's talk a little bit, a couple things that we want to cover. Wish that there was a few more people here, but they'll have to watch the recorded version of it. So
Actually need to run to another meeting, so I will see you guys later. Au revoir.
okay, see ya. So let's talk a little bit about some of the changes with this pre-service segment. Anyone that's hosting in the next, right now we have 4 more scheduled. It's a 6-week trial, so we've done 2 pre-service. We have 4 more, and so we start live at 10:15. And so as hosts, we need you to be on at 10:10 and watch. Basically just watch the pre-service segment and add appropriate links. Things that we're going to try to hit in there are sharing the link. It's a great way to invite people before the service even starts. Other things where we may try and get more intentional with new guests, but the reality is we're probably not going to have people for the first time watching in that segment. And then each segment, we're going to kind of highlight a ministry. So this week we're highlighting like outreach and serving. So if there's appropriate links for that. Previous week we highlighted some Kids World stuff. So following along, and then I would say, like, from a hosting perspective, if there's anything that you want to try or be like, maybe a little bit more outgoing, I would say that would be the segment to do it. All right. And so I've played around a little bit by, when people log in, I'll be the first one to be like, hey, Mark, good to see you, for like everybody that logs in. And I'm just experimenting to see if people engage with it, right? Or see if people like answer back. To be honest, I don't really feel like we get a lot of traction there. I don't know if that is just a culture thing. I don't know whether people just feel uncomfortable or if that's normal. I don't spend a lot of time online. Like, I'm not a gamer. Don't do a lot of those things. So I don't know what's normal for engagement, but I'm a pretty relational person, and so usually, like, if I was to acknowledge somebody in person, I would expect that they would acknowledge me back, but it doesn't seem like that's the same rule on social.
Do they like it? Like, do they click like, or do they just not even do that?
That's a good question. See, Mark, I don't really pay attention to the likes. So for me, it's like, oh, you liked it, and I'm like, but why aren't you talking to me? Right? But maybe that's normal. So this pre-service segment, just know that anytime that you're on, we need you, super important to be there. And then again, I want to clarify why we're doing this online segment. And so this takes a tremendous amount of work, believe it or not. Like, we invest several hours a week to put this together. But the whole idea behind it was to draw engagement. And again, I kind of talked about this earlier, where we don't want to just do online church and people watch it. Like that, we want to be able to do, the goal is to create engagement. And so, are you guys able to hear me? Just because my internet is...
You froze for probably 8 seconds, but you're back now.
Okay. So we want to try to draw engagement, and so with this segment, the feedback that I as I watched this last segment, it almost seemed too polished. Where I would like it to be a little bit more spontaneous. So, for example, if we're sitting there and we're hosting, and I look over perhaps, and in the atrium I see Mark walking, I wonder what it would be like to just, good morning, Mark. Good to see you, right? And so it's just like we're just trying to make it a little more spontaneous, or maybe online it's like, oh, good morning, Vicky. Like, Vicky, tell us, what are you eating for breakfast, right? That's some of the engagement, and so maybe you're going to be like, I'm eating Cheerios, right? And I would probably be like, well, can you take a picture of that? I would love to see a picture. Can you send that in the chat?
What is that floating in your tea?
Right.
It's a cinnamon stick and apple slices.
Love it. Love it. So again, why is this important? Because my thought is, as I'm wondering, and I would appreciate your guys' feedback, but even though I may be talking and engaging with Vicky about her bowl of Cheerios, you guys are watching, you guys are logged in online. Like, I'm wondering if that doesn't break down some of the barrier where you feel maybe more connected to the people on the other side of the camera, as opposed to us just putting out content. Do you think?
Yeah.
Or would it, even if do you think that it would maybe even invite more conversation from other people commenting potentially?
Yeah, probably. And it's kind of like a virtual atrium, kind of like,
yes,
which is a huge thing that people. Well, it's the thing that I would miss the most. You still get the message online, you still get the word, but you don't get the human interaction. Shooting the breeze, saying hi. Even just smiling at someone. We don't get that anymore. So I think it's a good idea.
So I haven't.
Conversation has a life of its own, so there should be a little bit of that.
yeah.
So I haven't been hosting on one of the weeks when we've had this virtual. I don't know what you called it. Not
Pre-service.
Pre-service. That's the word. When you mentioned the breakfast and the tea thing, are other people, do they have their cameras on? Is it like a big chat room while something else is happening during that time period?
Right. So no, that's a fair question. So no. So
Okay.
all it is week one I was making applesauce. All right. And so I was serving up applesauce for Alex, and I'm making it. And so people are commenting in the chat about how much they love apples and apple crisp. And so then Alex is basically responding to them verbally.
Okay, I see. Yeah, I've seen that with streamers. Yeah.
So we see their chat, but I don't comment, right? I don't be like, oh, I love applesauce or whatever. I'm talking to her and being like, oh, apple crisp. Like, Mark, tell me how do you make your apple crisp, right? So we see the comments and then we try to respond back. Mm-hmm. Or you'll see Alex last week where me. Did you lose me again?
Yeah. You said Mark and then you cut.
Okay. I was like, Mark, tell me your favorite recipe of applesauce. And so what we're doing is we're just trying to engage with people, that even though we're only engaging with one or two potentially, we're wondering if it doesn't invite more, or over time, if people will get more comfortable. And then in 5 or 6 weeks, it's like when we ask a question or we're talking about our cereal, more people might be like, telling us what we're doing. So that's to me, that's one of the wins for this pre-service, is can we draw more engagement? Number 2, will we see more people log on before 10:30? So if we can see people log on and we see those numbers go up, that's another marker for us as a win, because then we can promote, as we're doing things like we just did. We're promoting stories, exciting things that happen throughout the week that we're not able to always do on a Sunday morning. and now we're capturing it where people are hearing it. Okay. The other thing is we can video segments. So for example, we did a draw for small groups this Sunday. Well, I can take a clip of the winning small group that won that draw and some of the excitement around it, and I send that to all the small group leaders. So I send them an email and say, just want to update you on who won the October Plaid Challenge, right? Check out this link and you will see the winner. So that's another way that we can use some of those things. Maybe the segment is really fun and inviting or whatever, and maybe we would share a segment of it on Facebook throughout the week. Check out Pat making applesauce. I don't know. You know what I mean? We love fall here at Moncton Wesleyan. Tell us what your favorite fall treat is or something. I don't know. So those are some of the things that we can do with it. Will we continue? We're not sure. But I just wanted to kind of share with you guys and those of you that are going to watch this recording why this segment is important. And I want you to know that this segment is, there's a tremendous amount of value for you guys. All right, so it's an opportunity for you guys to engage with people in maybe a little bit more of an active way than what you would do during Joel's message. All right.
Yeah.
So any questions around that pre-service? Okay. We've got some technical questions. I'm just looking at a few other things that I had here. Any other thoughts on engagement, on what we can do, how we can improve engagement? When I talk to our in-person frontline team, there's two words that I use a lot, and I try to make people feel noticed and known. And so I explain this almost every Sunday in our huddle. Our job as a frontline is to make people feel noticed. How do you do that? Well, you remember their name, right? You learn their name, you remember their name. When you see them come in, you call them. Good morning, Seth. So glad that you're here. That's how people feel noticed, right? But how do people feel known? People feel known by when I ask Seth, like, man, what did you do this weekend? And he tells me, oh, I just like crushed this online competition, a gaming competition yesterday, and I was like the champ. Well, when I see him the next week, I bring that up and be like, are you still like, still excited about like winning that? That's how people feel known, right? Or maybe they share something, a difficulty or whatever. But my question is as online hosts, does that same thing apply? Like, are we able to make people feel noticed? And I don't know about the known part because we don't have time to really, get into any details, but how do we still make people feel noticed? And is it enough to call people by name when we see them log in as hosts? And I've experimented with this a little bit. When I see Mark log in or Vicky or whoever, I will just call them by name and be like, Mark, so good to see you. And that's when I don't get the reply back, Mark, and that's where I'm sometimes hurt.
Check those likes, Pat.
And I know that we can't do it for everybody, but I'm just kind of wanting to know, like, is that important for people?
Probably. I don't know what you could do beyond that. Like especially with the scheduling, it's like we generally have a week off between two, right? So it's not like, I mean, you could remember something of someone from 2 or 3 weeks ago and bring it back up again, but it's probably not going to happen. But I mean, I think, and sometimes I can see, Judy Gord logged on, and sometimes I can't. So I don't know how that all works, but I mean, I think, yeah, acknowledging them by name probably can't hurt, right? And it's a pretty simple thing. But beyond that, I guess you could just straight up ask, how are you doing this morning, Judy?
Yeah.
type of thing. Or if if you know them, uh, how are your dogs, Judy? Because I know Judy has dogs, but somebody else might not know that type
Right.
of thing.
Yes. Yeah. See, you know what? Like, I think that brings up a fair point, Mark, that I think that some of those things, they do catch people's attention. And even though you're not talking to me, you're talking to Judy, I still think I'm like, man, I don't know, maybe it's just my personality, but I would be like, man, I wish Mark would ask me about something, or at least I would be like, wow, that's cool that he knew that, right? Even though that he's not engaging with me. So I don't know if it's a culture thing that we can gain some wins on this, but engagement is king. And then I think a tremendous amount of our on our service programming side goes into in person, and I think that as leaders or whatever we call ourselves, we need to be trying to think of ways to engage the audience. Not the audience, those that are watching and those that are in person. So I had this random idea today where I don't know if I was going to quiz Mark on it tomorrow, but I don't know if we do like old school church. Sometimes we would take a course and we would not play any music, and we would just say, I want to hear your guys' voices sing the chorus of this song. I wonder if we were intentional in saying, we're going to do this right now, but those of you that are online, like, would you sing with us the chorus of this song? And so to me, that might be, again, intentional ways that we're just trying to break down that barrier that we have and include people in. So anyway, I'm just trying to think through small little parts of our service that we're connecting with people online.
Yes.
So
Yeah. I try and I don't know, this could go wrong maybe sometime, or maybe it's dangerous. I try and joke with people once in a while, or get a little cheeky or something.
yes.
I remember one time Lana Brown said, like, oh, Joel said something like, oh, look to your right, and he looked to the left, and she's like, your other right, Joel, or something like that. And like, you're fixing to get off, Lana. Like, stuff like that. Like, I don't know. You got to be careful with that, because you don't want to say something inappropriate or too edgy or something, but just kind of tease people like that a little bit if you find the appropriate moment.
Yes.
And that might help them feel more engaged too.
Yeah.
But
there is a fine line there, and because it doesn't come up as Mark Can, it comes up as Moncton Wesleyan.
yeah, exactly.
So they don't necessarily know who that is. So we have to, be careful on that. But
Yeah, I've been thinking about, like, with the role of essentially you're sort of being a moderator, so to speak. It's interesting because I think I was trying to think through how I perceived this, because when I think of that, I don't think necessarily of a greeter. I realize what I was thinking of, at least in terms of their relation to I'm used to using the term audience there, would be closer to something like somebody who works at a hotel. Like, that level of professionality is what came to mind first.
right.
With a moderator, where it's really different if it's something like a live stream, or if there's somebody like with that pre-service where you're seeing somebody and talking to them.
Yeah.
That's a very different dynamic, where I'm used to thinking of this as being a very professional thing. I wonder if that's why I've had difficulty locking into the idea of that kind of direct level of engagement and just trying to facilitate people interacting with each other.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else, I don't know if that clicks with anybody else, or if that makes sense to anyone else, or if I'm completely off mark there.
Really good point.
No, I mean, I think that's valid for sure.
And I think that if we're trying to bring clarity to what our role is, I think our role is to try to make it feel like we are there with them. And so it could feel less, I don't think we're concerned about the professionalism as much as the connection.
Yeah.
So example is if Judy Gord says something about, my dogs are actually sick, Mark. well, then I think that our response would be, man, we would love to, uh, we want to be praying for you through this time. You know what I mean? So we bring down the element of just like, oh, sorry to hear that, right? Which to me would be kind of like that desk clerk response, right? Whereas, um, whereas maybe on a personal note, it would be like, oh, I feel awful. That's terrible, and know that we want to be praying about this. Or maybe, and I'm using the dog illustration. Maybe this wouldn't be a good illustration, but let's say she expressed something physical need. Would it be okay if we prayed for that this week in our prayer time? Right? And so, again, it's just trying to bring that relational aspect to it. Or if
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
And I try not to be too static or too follow the script too much. Like the script's like a guide, right?
It is.
But if we all say the same thing every week, and the only differential is at the beginning where you insert name here is changed, it's not going to feel authentic to people.
Yeah. So so I think we kind of fleshed that out pretty good. Hopefully that's helpful for those again that are watching this later. But so last two things that I just want to ask is, typically on Sunday morning I've been starting to get in the rhythm. I'll send out a message in that Facebook thread just to give you a heads up as to if there's a few different service elements or when certain things are happening. Is that helpful for you guys as hosts?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, keep doing that.
Okay. So we'll do that. And then is there anything that we can be doing? Some of you may have known Jason, others of you maybe not, but Jason was technically, he was the team lead for several months and looked after scheduling and giving some direction for you guys. So he stepped down from that role. So I am officially in there. But is there anything that I can be doing to better help you guys or equip?
I don't think so. Not from my perspective. That all that information seems to be there on that first message for everything we need to know that week, and we got the numbers if we have a problem, right? Call Shane, call you, or text you, or whatever.
Yeah. So
yeah, I'm new and I feel really set up, so that's good.
Okay. Just know that any technical stuff on that Sunday morning, Shane is the guy. Like, and he responds really quick. I'm usually leading a huddle, rehearsal, and so I'm not quite as responsive, and I can't really help you anyway. To be honest, you know what I mean? I'm gonna flip you Shane's number. So any technical stuff, make sure that you just send it to him. He's really, really good at getting back. And then Bonnie is doing the scheduling. And so you guys see that invite where you guys can accept for that particular Sunday. How is that working?
Yeah, that's a good system. I think.
Okay.
Easy. I like that it gives you the decline option. I've never used. I think I maybe used it once or twice. But.
Okay. All right.
I like the emails too, because then if I can't remember, I could just type in the name or type in the service or whatever, and then Google the Gmail will automatically bring up the most recent one. So it's really easy to see and find.
I've done that many times.
Okay. So that pretty much. Again, tonight was just kind of a touch point because we have some new people on the team, and just kind of wanted to bring you guys a little bit together. One other thing is we talked about, for those of you that want to come to the service, and if you're hosting online and you're at the in-person service, we're going to set you guys up in the tech booth in the Celebration Center. So we'll have a laptop for you guys, because now the tech booth is not used like it was before. So a lot of that equipment is moved out. So that seems to be, it's a space that you can use and so you're there live in person watching the service, and then you can be online on your laptop.
Yeah, that's a cool idea.
So we'll get that set up. I'll let you guys know when that's ready, if it's this Sunday or next Sunday, I'm not sure. But that'll be a designated spot for you guys.
We'll need headphones with that laptop too, right?
I don't know how that works, right? If you just have it muted.
But what if we'd need to know if something went haywire, right, with the audio or something, right?
That's very true. So yes, you would need headphones. So we'll make sure that that's set up. So that's kind of where you guys can use your space. We've talked about logins. We've talked about scripts. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to send you guys a link to an online summit that I've watched recently. And there's a lady there that her and her husband lead a church, and she works for Facebook. And so she is like so passionate about online ministry and engaging with people. And so I'm going to send you a link. It's only 30 minutes, so it's super quick. There is 3 other people that they interview. So there's her and 2 others. The first person is the guy who invented the YouVersion Bible app. His interview, again, isn't as applicable to what we're talking about, but you can go ahead and watch that. But if you I think the only way I can do is I can only send you the whole interview, which it's 3 interviews of 30 minutes each. But you could fast forward it to, her name is Nina Jones, and hers is the second interview, 30 minutes, and it's incredible. It's incredible the insights that you will hear. I wish I could communicate it as well, but how social, like how ministry online is, we've got to figure this out. All right. So she'll talk a little bit about that. And then if you are interested, I would recommend the last interview with a guy named Levi Lusko. And so he's one of those kind of celebrity speakers, and he's got multi-sites in the States. But what's fascinating about his multi-sites is he pastors these multi-sites in remote locations. So like you think about New Brunswick, right? Lots of rural communities. Well, he has multiple sites in all these rural communities, and has learned online ministry very well over the last 8 years. And so when COVID hit and churches shut down, he's very much equipped with a lot of these experiences and how to connect with people online. So I really enjoy his. But again, if you just want to listen to one, I would encourage you to listen to Nina. And I think it'll just inspire, motivate, and it may spark some ideas. And so I just want to encourage you guys as online hosts, like be willing to dream and think about this. It's new, and the playing field is level. And so you might have a thought. Make sure that you share that with us, because we're looking for ideas and ways to connect with people. All right. And so I'll leave you this one last thought, and that is I'm looking for ways, so people are watching our service online. What is the next step? Okay, what is the next step for someone who's watching church for the first time online? And so they're not going to join a small group, right? Like they're not, like that's too fast, right? We're moving too fast here. And so I'm looking for, what is that next step of engagement that somebody that watches online that we can promote, or a button we can have that they might click on that, right? And so that's kind of where I'm at and trying to look for it. Right now, I'm potentially looking at, I don't know if it's going to be a pop-up window or if it's going to be a bold link that they can click to, but it might be just a question like looking for purpose, or looking for the meaning of life, or got questions. And if they click on that, it's going to offer them an ebook from, let's say, Rick Warren, The Purpose-Driven Life, we'll say. So we'll send that book to them, okay, online, or like, but what it does is it gives us their phone number and their email. And so what I could then do is potentially follow up with them a week or two later, right? So now you've taken someone who's watched online for the first time. They have indicated that there's some sort of interest there, and so it kind of creates a drip that we could potentially follow up on. So again, just looking for ideas. How do we help people that are watching online connect with us in a way that they feel comfortable, feel safe, and that we can be helpful in that? So anyway, again, I would appreciate any ideas and thoughts you guys have on this. Cool?
Cool.
I have an immediate thought. I was just thinking, we say hello to people, and we're there. You're there. Closing the service, saying, "Okay, goodbye, online."
Say that. Sorry, can you just say that again?
Have you thought of doing an ending to the service with the online host as well? You have the hello.
Yeah. That's a good thought, Mark. How do you guys end the live stream?
It does feel very abrupt. The ending. It's just usually the last thing I post is God's love to the world because love changes everything when Joel says it. And, as soon as the feed cuts, it's back to like the beginning music, scrolling, youth info, kids world, all that. And it's just kind of, some people say, oh, what a great service. And you might like a few of them, but I'm usually out of there pretty quick. And it seems like, well, you might not get the stats. I don't know how long they run it once the service is over. Do you know?
It's the announcement run, so it's about 3 minutes, and then
Okay.
whatever video, as far as Facebook, whatever video is logged next just pops up. So it could be anything from any talk show host or whatever,
Okay.
anything at all. It would be nice if we could guide what was coming next. So
Right.
if it was like a Bible study right next, or part of a Rick Warren thing right next, or something like that, like to tag on to the end.
Yeah.
So
That's a
their
good
thoughts
thought.
could continue.
That's a good thought that I'll hang on to. I know that we cut the feed quick because we want to give instructions on how to dismiss people,
Mhm.
and people really don't want to hang out in their seats very long. So we cut the feed really quick, give them some instructions, and allow people to dismiss. There is thoughts around that I've not considered, but just pondered. Where what if we went live right there with whoever spoke, and now you could engage with Joel and his message, right? So those of you that are online, we want you to stick around. I'm sure you got some questions. Like, we got to find out, like, how's Joel doing from his message today? Like, man, he really preached hard. Like, he must be tired. Like, what did he have for breakfast? Like, how early was he up and cooking up that message? Like, we just can't wait, right? And so, again, what does that do? Like, I would like to think about what that is, but that's a valid point. We're going to, in our small groups, I've ordered 1,500 invite cards for online church. And because I think that there's a lot of people that don't realize what online church is. And so, Mark, this church is, as you know, has been around for decades. And I wonder if there's some people that used to go here, they don't attend anymore, but if they were to get an invite on maybe their car window or pass it through at the drive-through, I know with COVID and all that stuff, we've got to be careful, but it's an invite, I wish I had it with me, to online church, and on the card it says, join our service and receive a free Tim's card. You flip the card on the back, and it gives you 3 steps. It says, go to mw.watch or /watch. Number 2, enjoy this experience anytime, right? Because online church, you can do it anytime.
Yeah.
Number 3, watch the service, and it's a lot clearer that I'm communicating, but it's very simple. Watch the service, and you'll find out how you can receive your Tim's card. And so how you do that is you text the number, right? And put new, and that's how you receive your gift card. But So we have 1,500 invites. So small groups are going to start passing these out to their neighbors, Tim Hortons, workplace, just to bring awareness to online church. All right. And so I'm kind of excited to see if we see our new guests creep up. But anyway, just wanted to share that with you guys. We've had over 80 new people. We're starting next in a couple of weeks. So we're reaching out to 80 people next week that have been new over the last little while. So
Wow.
know that what you guys are doing, I know it doesn't feel like it, but people are connecting. All right.
That's good.
Let me pray for you guys, and we'll sign off. Cool?
Cool.
Let's pray. Lennon, do you want to pray for everyone? No? All right, let's pray. God, we thank you for tonight, and just want to say, speak a blessing, God, over the online hosts and over this ministry. God, they, what started out as a small team and as just a beginning, God has moved so fast, and they are so valuable. And I just pray that that they would just know that their role is just not an add-on, but God, it's very much a very, very prominent role in ministry that happens on Sunday. And so I just pray that you would give us creativity, give us ideas, make us passionate about this particular ministry, that when we log on to be an online host, I just pray that through our words that we text and that we type, God, that people would just feel like they matter, that they would feel our passion, they would feel our excitement just coming through to them. And what's more exciting is that we pray that people would feel the power and the presence of the Holy Spirit through online hosts and through the ministry that they experience, whatever day that is that they watch. So blessed, God, to be a part of this family and a part of this church. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen.
Very good.
So also, I know I've got all this stuff, so this is the last thing I'll say, but I would like to come up with a name for our online, like those that are watching online, like, are they our family? Like our online family? Are they our, not that we would use this name, but our MW family or whatever it is? But I think we should be thoughtful so that we create that language as we're on stage talking, and that they know who that is. And then you guys as hosts, you guys are addressing them by that. So the Can family, I don't know. We'll come up with a name. Appreciate you guys.
Sounds good. Thanks, Pat.
See ya.
Thank
Have a good
you.
night.
Yeah, bye, Vicky. Bye,
Bye,
Seth.
everybody.
Bye.